I don't feel like I inherited an English department. I feel like someone handed me a ticking time bomb because they wanted to make sure a woman was holding it when it explodes.
By now, you've probably finished The Chair, Sandra Oh's pin-sharp comedy drama detailing the embattled daily life of the first woman appointed as chair of the English department at a top-tier university. And, like all good students, you've probably got questions. Let's go! Is The Chair based on a true story? It's not. It's an original idea created by Amanda Peet and Annie Julia Wyman. The institution, too, is fictional. Instead of being a real place, Pembroke University feels like an amalgamation of numerous elite US learning institutions. Everyone in this looks familiar. Who's in it? She doesn't need an intro, but Sandra Oh of Grey's Anatomy and Killing Eve stars as Ji Yoon Kim, the first female chair at Pembroke University. It's one of Oh's first dedicated comedy series roles, although both Killing Eve and Grey's obviously had their moments. Jay Duplass of Transparent is Professor Bill Dobson, a self-destructive widower who becomes mired in controversy.
Heil Hitler.
And you'll recognise Emmy Award winner Holland Taylor, who delights as the savage Professor Joan Hambling from loads of stuff.
Well, I hope they didn't have to look at your fanny while you did that.
Including The Practice, Legally Blonde and The Truman Show. More recently, in 2020, she appeared as the lovable Stormy in To All the Boys Too and was nominated for an Emmy for Ryan Murphy's Hollywood.
Acting isn't magic. It's a job.
Nana Mensah from Queen of Glory and Bonding is Professor Yaz McKay, and Bob Balaban from The Monuments Men, and basically every Wes Anderson movie since Moonrise Kingdom, is Professor Rents, the old-school academic threatened by the ascendant McKay. David Morse from The Green Mile is Dean Larson, and the show is partly stolen by 7-year-old Everly Carner-Giller of Yes Day, who features as Juju, Ji-yoon's wonderful, complex, slightly terrifying adopted daughter.
Do you have fur on your vagina?
And David Duchovny is played by, yes, David Duchovny of the X-Files fame. Wait, did David Duchovny really go to Princeton? Yeah, and in fact, loads of the stuff said about Duchovny, who plays himself in the show, is actually based on fact.
Interesting.
He attended Princeton University, where he graduated in 1982 with an A.B. in English literature. And yes, that really is the title of Duchovny's dissertation.
The schizophrenic critique of Purism in Beckett's early novels.
I only wrote the one chapter.
The only difference is that he wrote it at Princeton, not Yale. Although he did go to Yale, earning a Master of Arts in English Literature before starting work on an unfinished PhD on magic and technology in contemporary fiction and poetry. Yes, really. Oh, and the music stuff is real too. In 2007, he put his acting career on hold to spend more time as a singer-songwriter.
Only song I've ever heard quote Wallace Stevens.
Fuck, I hope so.
D.B. Weiss and David Benioff? Why do those names sound familiar? Come on, this is Weiss and Benioff's first series since Game of Thrones ended in 2019, although this time they're producing, not writing. Dirty John and A Lot Like Love star Amanda Peet takes the lead as executive producer and showrunner of The Chair, and it's written by Peet, co-creator Annie Julia Wyman, Richard E. Robbins, Jennifer Kim and Andrea Troyer. Where is The Chair set? The Chair was filmed in Pittsburgh in early 2021, presumably in the depths of winter looking at the scenery, and much of the show is set in the city's Lawrenceville neighbourhood. The city has 3 universities, Carnegie Mellon University, the University of Pittsburgh and Duquesne, but as we mentioned before, Pembroke is entirely fictional. What is Dol-Jabi? It's a long-standing Korean tradition to celebrate a baby's first birthday with a grand ceremony called Doljanchi. This is the event Bill ends up sort of gate-crashing in episode 5, The Last Bus in Town. The highlight of the ceremony is Dol-Jabi. The child is placed in front of a selection of 6 to 8 items, then encouraged to grab them. The items they pick represent their future, whether it's a particular career, wealth or lifestyle. In The Chair, Minji's options are represented by a stethoscope, pencil, paintbrush, money, tennis ball and white string. But really, the items can be anything that represents a particular future, from space rockets for astronauts to microphones for performers.
This isn't authentic. She's clearly tampering with the process right now. Let her make her own choice.
What is Dia de los Muertos? Dia de los Muertos is a Latin American holiday with strong associations to Mexico, celebrated on the 1st of November. It honours the dead with festivals and lively celebrations, combining indigenous Aztec ritual with Catholicism, brought to the region by Spanish conquistadors. The idea is that the dead would be insulted by mourning or sadness, so Dia de los Muertos celebrates their lives instead. As well as the celebrations, the dead are celebrated with something called ofrendas, small personal altars honouring one person. Ofrendas are decorated with things like flowers, candles and mementos of the person being remembered, which is exactly what Juju helps Bill to create for his late wife.
She's gonna find you.
What is tenure and why is it so important to Professor McKay? This one will be pretty obvious to US viewers, but perhaps less so to those elsewhere. Tenure is a type of permanent academic appointment which can only be terminated in exceptional circumstances. As well as providing security and influence, it also affords a degree of academic freedom. Your university isn't going to get rid of you for researching the wrong thing, for instance. That's why it's so important to Nana Mensa's Professor Yaz McKay. It's a sign she's made it as an academic. And although she's an established and important member of the teaching staff at Pembroke, she'd be in a much better position if she was tenured.
Thank you so much for agreeing to chair my tenure case. June just gave me the news.
Sure.
Will there be a second season of The Chair? Honestly, we don't know yet. Let's hope so. Here's a montage of Professor Hambling to keep you busy.
Philandering husbands, horny housewives, farting, pubic hair. Some poor schmuck asks a woman for a kiss and ends up making out with her butthole. I'm what he thinks about when he's trying not to come in his girlfriend.
That's what
I don't get it. For example, it would be true for me to say, everyone can see your fanny.
You're a tiger. Get in there. Get in there. Give me it. Give it to me. Give it to me. Oh!
People, let's try not to panic.
Well, it's easy for you to say you're 51.
I'm 46.
You're kidding.
Did you enjoy The Chair? And if you were writing a dissertation on Netflix shows, what would it be? Let us know in the comments, and remember to subscribe to the channel now for more videos about your favourite shows and movies.